Hello, I'm your host, Emily McAlpine, and welcome to the 350th episode of Hempfield Happenings. This month, we will discuss a new bakery downtown, student activism, and Lancaster being one of the top 10 places to visit. All of this and more on April's edition of Hempfield Happenings.
Student activists are working together for a better tomorrow.
Last month, hundreds of local high school students met here in Binns Park to join thousands across the nation in a conjoined effort for student activism.
To me, activism is people stepping up to make their voices heard for an important cause that positively impacts the world. And I think we are seeing a lot of activism right now within the various youth movements and social justice movements that we see in the United States and across the world.
Social media applications such as Twitter and Instagram, alongside websites such as change.org, have made student activism more accessible and prevalent than ever.
I think that a lot of the world issues do affect students, and a lot of students recently have been getting more involved in political issues.
Kat expresses what activism means to her.
I felt like I got to stand up and speak on behalf of students everywhere, and also I was there with my Jewish youth group, so I felt like I was making a difference as a young Jewish person, and it was really meaningful to me, but the meaningful part was that I was helping to make a difference for on behalf of others.
If I learned nothing else over the course of my life, it's that we as individuals matter.
Student activists are working together for a better tomorrow. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Luke Dreyer.
Atomic is a stage design company that has had its roots in Lidditz for years. Molly Hooley visited their studio and learned what their connection to Hempfield High School is.
Right now, I am standing in front of the Performing Arts Center at Hempfield High School, home to the school's many elaborate productions. Lots of hard work from student staff and local businesses go into creating these performances. One of these businesses is Atomic. Atomic got its start in the production world with founder Tom McPhillips when he began working in set design, which led to big clients and a big name in the industry.
So we say that we work in live events, but that covers a huge spectrum of things. We have the roots in rock and roll, and we come from kind of the concert touring background, but actually we work a lot more nowadays for big brands, big corporations, for things like product launches or big sales meetings, trade shows, things like that.
Now, Atomic is stationed around the world, but sourced in Lidditz. While a small town in Pennsylvania may not seem glamorous, there are lots of benefits to the location.
We're also able to help people out who don't have the big dollars to do something big and flashy and custom. We can use our rental product, especially for people in the community and high schools and churches and things like that.
This link to the community has garnered a close relationship with local schools such as Hempfield High School.
About 10 years ago, Atomic Design was doing a project down in the Ozark Mountains, and they needed to prep everything before they sent it down there. So they had to have everything right before it got there, but their shop isn't tall enough to set the scenery up that they were going to be sending down there. So they asked to borrow our stage. So they came in and borrowed our stage, but they have been coming back a number of times, and if they don't have enough space to hang something in their shop, then they can come here and hang it.
We have a really great relationship with Hempfield High School. Atomic as a whole really loves to give back to the community, and one of the ways that we can do that is by working with local high schools. The theater, the stage there is amazing, and Mr. Bailey always helps us with the lighting and any technical things that we need.
We're very lucky as Hempfield to have such a wonderful stage and a facility that we do.
Whether it's a big-scale production or a high school show, Atomic certainly has a place in the community. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Molly Hooley.
Roots is a country market that has been a part of Lancaster County since 1925. Andrew Schaffler went there to learn more about this market's rich history.
If you're from Lancaster County, you've probably heard about Roots, the market that's only open once a week. But many may not know how this market came to be.
Prior to 1925, this was a farm. In 25, there's a mill building across the street. That went bankrupt in 1925. The market started right after that, literally across the street from the old mill. Nowadays, that old mill is a flea market. Since my great-grandfather was involved in that mill, it's now part of the market Tuesday activity as far as a flea market and a country market.
Roots Market is only open on Tuesdays because it started off as a poultry farm.
The farmers would bring in live birds to sell on the auction on Tuesday so that city market stand holders could come out here and buy the live birds on the auction and take them home, dress them in time to sell them at the city markets on Fridays and Saturdays to the public. As the people came in to sell their live birds on the auction, they would bring things that they made on the farm. They'd bring it here and sell that. That was the start of the market part of the auction.
Some stands have been at Roots through many generations, just like this pretzel stand.
The man who started this shop was Leroy, which is my cousin's grandfather. He passed away pretty young, and my grandparents took over, and they would have had it from 69 to 81, which is when my parents bought it. My dad had passed away in 94, and that's when I took it over. But it's been in the same family since 1946, and that's how long the stand's been here.
Through their 93 years of business, what keeps bringing people back to Roots?
From the food standpoint, the homegrown produce, the foods that you count on a weekly basis, we have good stand holders providing those, and they come out in all kinds of weather. So it's freshness of local produce, it's in seasonal stuff, it's traditional Lancaster County one-on-one shopping.
I think the prices are fair. The stands here give you good service. The food and the merchandise here I think is good. And all the food here is fresh and freshly made. You can save a lot of money coming to a market.
For new stand owners and seasoned veterans, or just people who want fresh local foods, Roots has something for everyone. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Andrew Schaffler.
April 1st, or April Fool's Day, is a day in which people like to play practical jokes on each other. I went to Landisville Intermediate Center to learn what the children there think are some of the best pranks.
Like take a bucket of glitter or water if it's outside, and then put it above a door, and when they open the door, it would fall over on them and like soak them if it's water.
I would think the best April Fool's prank would be to set someone's alarm to PM to AM.
Like when you're getting up to do it, sweater to your sister, and put like clear wrap over the closet door, and then so she just walks into it.
If you take an Oreo and you open it and you take out the cream and replace it with toothpaste and then put it back on.
Goldie's Bakery is a new addition to the many food options available in Lancaster City. Tusha Pham traveled to the bakery to learn what makes it unique.
At the corner of King and Lime Street in downtown Lancaster, a new restaurant is cooking their way up to the top.
Goldie's Bakery was inspired by the owner, Mitchell Ray's professional culinary experiences during the time he lived in New York.
Probably about 2 years ago, I started really focusing on what kind of model I would want to open. Being in contact with my old coworker, he and I just kind of deduced that a bread and bakery scene would be really successful here, especially because the early morning hours are pretty underserved in terms of restaurant space here in the city.
In only a few weeks of being open, the business has already started to attract newcomers.
We've had a lot of great reception from the guests. It's been a challenge. I mean, restaurants are notoriously challenging businesses to run in terms of staffing and keeping the ticket times low, keeping customers happy and things like that. But everything comes, in time.
The name of the restaurant comes from Ray's great-grandmother, who contributed to his creative endeavors.
We moved here into this building, which was previously the Golden Eagle Tavern, and before that it was the Golden Tavern. And we just kind of were thinking about ideas for names, and one of my good friends had a daughter she called Goldie about 2 years ago, so we were just like, I really like the name Goldie, and it was just kind of a nice coincidence that it kind of tied into the history of the building also. And just to keep in the family value.
Not only does Goldie's capture Lancaster's charm, they also offer a variety of affordable meals influenced by American recipes and neighborhood-inspired dishes.
Dishes will range anywhere from, we'll say, $7 to $15. There'll be very hearty plates, as well as our bird's nest. Our bird's nest being a hash brown base and whichever fixins you'd get and your eggs on top. So something like that. It all remains in the breakfast family. We're open Wednesday through Sunday, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. So just long enough for the breakfast crowd and some lunch crowd. Goldie's is important to me because it does provide another space in the community for people to come together. And being in this side of the neighborhood as well, it's important that we try to include everybody. Lancaster is a very diverse area, but certain areas can still be a bit one note, so it's nice to have just another place where people can come.
So whether you're looking for a new place to eat or somewhere cozy to hang out, Goldie's Bakery may just be your new favorite spot. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Tusha Pham.
DPTV is a program that teams up American and Russian students so that they can work together to create an international news program. They're on episode 4 of a 5-part series. To check out this program, you can go to tinyurl.com/dptv4. Again, that's tinyurl.com/dptv4 with the 4 spelled out. The Eastern Palace is a new restaurant that recently opened up in Lancaster City. Danielle Leachy went to the restaurant to learn more.
Food is a necessity in one's life. There's so many cultures to explore, and in Lancaster, diversity in the food industry is growing.
Eastern Palace is a new restaurant in East Hempfield Township that specializes in Thai food, Burmese food, and even sushi. Kin Song talks about the owners and what they did prior to owning Eastern Palace.
They used to do sushi at Harrisburg. It was really popular sushi, and then they were Burmese and know some Thai food.
Very diverse. In fact, I wanted to be able, on this side of town, eat at a restaurant that had food from the Asian peninsula.
There is a website with their wide variety of Thai, Burmese, and sushi that you can check out at easternpalacepa.com.
There are not much of Burmese food in here. I know a lot of Thai and sushi, but not Burmese, so yeah.
This is the first time I've eaten here, but I like anything with curry in it, and I enjoyed what I got. But I like Vietnamese and now Thai.
Although fast food chains are distributed all around the world and is convenient for people on the go, at Eastern Palace you can experience a whole new culture just by stepping into the restaurant. From Hempfield Happenings, I'm Danielle Leachy.
The Candy Factory is a place where small business owners and entrepreneurs come to work together. Bailey Rye visited the company to see how it helps out local businesses.
The Candy Factory, located in downtown Lancaster, provides entrepreneurs, freelancers, and other business professionals with a unique environment to achieve their goals.
This is Ann Kirby.
I've been in business for many years.
She created a company called the Candy Factory, which is a co-working organization.
So the Candy Factory, or co-working in general, is a community of professionals. We share space, share resources.
It provides a collaborative work environment for professionals, as well as a place to work and meet with clients.
It's very, very focused on the people in the space. So we are not a rent-a-desk. We are not shared office space. If our building didn't exist, our community would.
From photographers to real estate agents, the Candy Factory is full of talent.
I say that there is no building in Lancaster that has the amount of talent and skills that this building has, all in one place, under one roof. And I feel like when you're in the creative industry, whether it be videography, design, it's really, really important to be inspired and challenged and to collaborate with other creatives in your industry.
Finding a place to work, meet with clients, and collaborate with others is difficult to find when starting a small business. It wasn't any different for Sarah Lamphere and her business, Nuts About Granola.
I ended up using this topic of Nuts About Granola throughout all of my 3 years in college. I needed some place to work that wasn't my house.
For Sarah, the candy factory was an obvious choice.
There's a lot of people in here with a lot of different expertise and different supporting functions of business, so maybe not necessarily a ton of people who are in this food space that are here, but there's a whole slew of different services that a business would need that you're able to connect with.
Nuts About Granola is now part of Sarah's much larger company, Sarah's Snacks, and is available in many stores, including Target, Stouffer's, and Wise Markets.
To see people actually grow professionally, but also personally, our members become part of a big family here, and we're here to help each other and support each other personally and professionally, and it's amazing to see people evolve and their companies evolve.
If you think the Candy Factory is the right place for your business, check out candyissweet.com to learn more or become a member. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Bailey Rye.
At Hempfield High School, there's a new program designed to help people with special needs learn how to live on their own. Lauren Degg decided to check it out and see what they do.
Hempfield High School built a cottage here on campus, a part of the Transitions Beyond the Classroom program to benefit Lifeskills students by practicing daily activities and exercises to incorporate into their everyday lives.
The cottage was created to provide students with the next stage prior to graduation. So the students that participate in the program, they all have transition plans that include employment.
The students are at the cottage on a daily basis and regularly go on work crews for the program.
So all of the students, we try to provide, it's either paid or unpaid work crews. And a work crew is them going out into the community, either working at a volunteer location or an actual business.
My favorite work crew is all size, clean right, baking cupcakes for the people in the community.
The goal for these work crews is for the students to develop several skills and to build their level of experience to obtain a job in the community.
This is my resume. I'm going to get a job interview today. I'm very excited about it.
The cottage gives the students the opportunity to experience a household environment and to learn the duties required to live independently.
The best way to allow students to grow with independent skills is to have a real-life learning lab, and that's what we have here. So everything runs just like a house. They participate in chores just like you would at a home, and they all have duties that they complete each week. At first we focused on the basic skills, so the cleaning, so the dishwashing, laundry, vacuuming, making a bed.
The cottage is overall a beneficial and enjoyable experience for both the students and teachers.
Well, I just like having with my friends and just enjoying time with them and just like hanging out and everything.
Because so I could learn how to run a house. It's great practice.
I'm able to get out with these students in the community and on the work site, and I'm blown away. While I always knew that they had potential, it's different to actually see it in person. I almost feel like I benefit more than they do, so I really get great joy out of it.
The cottage has been a great opportunity and eye-opener for students, teachers, and community members. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Lauren Degg.
Austin Groff talks about how people over-exaggerate certain events and the effect that social media plays in sensationalizing their reactions.
Social media has made it a lot easier to release news, but not all of this information can be true.
This is the result of sensationalism, the use of exciting or shocking stories at the expense of accuracy in order to provoke public interest and excitement.
Typically, sensationalism might cause people to maybe not get all the correct facts. If the truth has been manipulated, they're only going to focus in on the hype of the story and maybe not really focus in on the actual facts and the truth. Well, actually, as part of our curriculum, our information literacy curriculum in the library, we start teaching students from very early elementary how to evaluate stories and information and news and current events. We help them learn how to take the criteria, and by 5th grade, our students know that there's 5 criteria that you should be evaluating all those hyped and sensational news stories on. Are they credible? Are they accurate? Are they current? Is the information relevant to what you're looking for? And is it biased? I mean, that's really important. Is it biased? So that when all that information gets pushed out at you through the sensationalism, students should be questioning. And when you become adults and regular members of society, you should be questioning when you see that hype and that big headline before you click on it, before you retweet it, before you repost it.
Students have their own experiences with sensationalism.
I feel a lot of the things in our media today is sensationalized. Headlines especially, people want to make them more exciting so they can get more clicks or more reads. I think specifically at our school, the threats against the school were sensationalized. You know, people heard about it and then made it more exciting and a bit more dangerous than I think what the threat really was. But I think the school did a good job of, you know, really telling us how it was, and I felt safe, and I think that was good.
Well, it's human nature to want to hear the most dramatic story and see like other people getting in trouble and people getting expelled and all kinds of stuff. So people just want to, they like to hear that kind of thing. It's a very interesting thing to hear and to talk about. And people just enjoy talking about that, so everything just gets way overhyped.
Well, I mean, it can be very simple. You can sort of embellish a story to make your experience seem a little bit more extraordinary somehow. People like to hear that, and that's what it boils down to. And today, when everybody has access to all the media they could want, or all the stories they could want, you get to pick and choose the information you take in. And so people who like to hear exciting stories filter what they hear so they hear more exciting.
Sensationalism changes the truth in almost everything seen on social media, which is why students are learning how to critically think about the media they consume. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Austin Groft.
Lancaster City was named one of the top 10 coolest places to visit in 2018 by Forbes magazine. Caroline Ulrich traveled to Lancaster City to discover why it is one of the best.
Lancaster, the hometown of the 15th President, James Buchanan. Capital city of the United States for one day, and one of America's oldest inland cities, has now also been named among the top 10 coolest cities to visit in 2018 by Forbes magazine.
Bucolic and Amish are the stereotypical words that come to mind to describe this bustling small town. However, taking a deeper look, you realize that's not exactly the case.
I mean, what does it mean to the city in terms of just increased visibility and an awareness that Lancaster County is not just one thing, which a lot of people think of it as farmland and Amish, and we are that, but we are also this really small, diverse, beautiful city that is in the heart of it. I think that it's something that, you know, when you're walking along the city streets and it's just very familiar to you, that sometimes you don't always appreciate the beauty that's around you. And I know that I'm taking in the city in a different way now as its mayor, really noting the architectural beauty that exists in every neighborhood.
Craft breweries, distilleries, and architecture were some of the main draws named in the Forbes article, specifically noting Italian restaurant Luca, Lancaster Central Market, The Fridge, and Thistle Finch Distillery.
You know, I'm always looking for undersung destinations. I think people are tired of going to the same places as everyone else. And I do a few of these stories a year in which I ask my network of trusted travel agents where they've been and what their clients are interested in. Really what the travel agency that recommended it, which was Black Tomato, had to say about it overall was architecture, farmers market, craft breweries, distilleries, cocktail bars, restaurants in these abandoned warehouses. And the opportunity to have those things in a less well-known place is very compelling.
Yeah, there's more people walking around downtown. There's a lot more young people that are out and about. We have a First Friday. We have a lot more restaurants. I mean, there's so many changes.
Wrestling to get onto the top 10 list was no easy feat. Lancaster had to beat out some very well-known cities and capitals.
Again, I just feel like the world is getting so much bigger, and we've moved away from a world in which it was really about capital cities and anyone creative was living in one of a few places. Now the way we live and work makes it possible for these very creative and interesting communities to flourish everywhere in the world. So the list of places to go just keeps getting longer.
A newly hip Victorian city, as Forbes put it, the Red Rose City has certainly made a name for itself. In the words of Bruno Mars, Lancaster has made it into Forbes magazine. Although it's not smiling next to Oprah and the Queen, Lancaster has come a long way since its founding in 1729. Historic and vibrant, hopefully Lancaster will continue to be a hidden gem of Pennsylvania. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Caroline Ulrich.
Thank you for tuning in to the April edition of Hempfield Happenings. We are happy to have produced 350 episodes of this show. Until next month, I'm Emily McAlpine.